Metallica! That's probably as much excitement as you're gonna get out of me on this one. You got it up front. Now let's start talking about this. I really don't even know how to properly intro the video, because it's like, what, am I supposed to explain to you who Metallica is? What the heck? You clicked on this video for a reason, right? The song is called Screamin'
Demonetized.
Check out my podcast and check out my band. Let's go, I guess. It sounds so familiar. I'm trying to think of what it is. I can't put my finger on it. It's driving me nuts. Either way, there's not anything really new here as far as I can hear. All right, you know, pretty standard blues-based hard rock, metal adjacent type of stuff going on. Doing some blues-based scales on those runs down. It's all very new wave of British heavy metal inspired, Metallica expressed type of things. Like, I think, being completely honest, if I wasn't making this specifically for views, I would probably turn this track off by now. That bass mix is really good. Really delicious. Man, for a band as legendary as Metallica and a riff writer as influential as James Hetfield, that's a pretty disappointing riff. Like, I wanted to give them a smidge of a pass on the first song, Lux Eterna. Is that how it's pronounced? I don't know how to pronounce that weird effing character on screen. A number of you came in the comments and explained, oh, it's called 72 Seasons because it's about the first 18 years of life. And I was like, oh, that could be a really cool concept. What does, like, each year represent, basically, in song? That could be really cool. The Lux Eterna thing makes perfect sense in the context of someone just discovering heavy metal and how they wanted to express that as their song Hit the Lights from Kill 'Em All. And it was like, okay, that's all makes more sense now. And kind of fun-ish riffs in there. Screaming 86ing yourself, to me, is just, I guess, blanket teenage years. Maybe there's a specific point in time that one of the members was dealing with this, and that's what it means to them. For something so extreme and drastic, I can't think of a more bland and unexpressive riff that does not demonstrate the absolute horror of feeling that way. Like, as we're gonna see throughout a whole bunch of this song, this kind of feels like if they took their leather and motorcycles inspiration from their early years with that style of, again, new wave of British heavy metal, infusing that a little bit harder into their existing load and reload era sound. That's basically what I feel like I'm getting on this entire track. Like, just off the top of my head, the first two songs that come to mind are Fuel and Prince Charming. I think this is one of their most underrated songs. I love this song. Now let's come back to this guy. It's like if your regional band was trying to do a poor Metallica knockoff. They're doing the classic guitar moving the fourths thing that comes out of that friggin' like, oh yeah, hot rods, blues, wild thing, you know, like all that crap. But they don't employ it in an interesting and engaging way, in my opinion. Like this melody in this riff for Prince Charming sings way more true and way more memorable to me than the one for their latest track. Just seems like a smarter constructed melody. Just seems way smarter. It's still equally as simple, but the repetition, or as I learned from Hetfield and Lars in their documentaries, the head, tail type of thing, or the head, tail, they make that flow so much better in a more interesting, captivating way. Even with the super simple phrasing, even with the same blues scale that they're utilizing. So yeah, it's just like, guys, what happened? Oh, I know what happened. you're 60.
I'm having chest pain.
I'm not gonna fault him. Be like, how dare you grow old and not just constantly release exclusively bangers? You can pretty much tell off the bat that I immediately had a feeling I wasn't going to enjoy this. It's whatever. It's new. It's new Metallica! Okay. One of the things that I think was a mistake in the arrangement, while they did do the running bass just on the tonic in Prince Charming, or at least on the root notes of the chord, I don't think it serves this song as well. I think it would be cooler to have a little bit more breakup against the backbeat, that is, for those unaware, the kick and snare, and pick some moments to emphasize certain notes with the guitar. I think that would add an extra dimension of surprise and fun that I feel like the overall arrangement during this section is really lacking. The mix is super clean, and I can see why some people wouldn't like that. Okay, right here, melodies. Okay, for those who have been watching for a while, when people end their melodies on a 5, it really puts me off sometimes. And in this case, I could probably get away with it if he didn't end all of the friggin' phrases in this verse on the 5. Rhythmically, I get what he's going for. I don't know how well it supports the existing feel coming off the instruments, but it's whatever. I could probably live with it if there was some fun, engaging contour coming after it. But as we'll see, that's not happening. Like, almost identical. It's like, okay, thanks, man. The exact same phrase 3 times in a row. Some guys can get away with that. That phrase isn't good enough for that. It wasn't even made for that, honestly. The way that the da-da-da-da-da, rhythm works, you could maybe get away with that twice in a row on like a pre-chorus or something. And I'm thinking about generally not, there's obviously exceptions to every rule, but then to have 0 variation on it or like a cap off to it as kind of a, this is why we were presenting you this tension in this repetition of this rhythm, of this contour. They just do nothing with it, you know? It's like, did you guys even try? Does being 60 years old make you forget how to write? You spent over a decade with Bob Rock and this is what you got to show for it? Come on. You mean you guys spent half a decade looking like metrosexuals so you could write this? Okay, this as a turnaround is kind of cool. I dig it. I like that we get the rhythm change. I like that we get a small riff change that I think is actually quite impactful. Hitting more of a Phrygian-esque type of deal. I really doubt it's Locrian, but I mean, basically, you got the flat 2 in there. Not the world's most intriguing drum part, but it is Lars. I like the modulation, and we're gonna modulate one more time. I think it's all very effective. The top line melody as a development off of the verse top line, I think is smart. I think it sits much better. And we're not ending on the 5. It's great. There's a really cool transition here. I'm going to back it up a little bit. Like, the double snare thing going into the next riff is like a little surprising in a fun way. And especially the key that they land on as the new tonic. Really fun. I really like that moment. And then change up to the new backbeat. I am a sucker and a tiny bit of a slut for the that's kind of fun. And they've used it before, but like whatever. It's kind of a trope in hard rock and classic metal at this point. I really like this riff a lot. I wish this wasn't the chorus and it was the pre-chorus. Lately, I have not been caring for Metallica's choruses a whole lot. Right here again. Again, a simple riff building off of the previous riff that we just did. So it's yet another development. And we're utilizing the bound, like doing the little palm mutes, the texture, the meat. Delish! I really like this riff a lot, actually. I think it's hands down the coolest part of the song. But even still, it's not remotely enough to be a satiating meal. I feel like I am musically nutrient deprived. Horrible! We had a cool moment of actually getting me feeling like we're in a pocket. You know, after our previous development of that whole business, like, okay, I was in for a moment, and then you just chucked me away, total abandon. I don't want to say they've stopped trying, but it certainly sounds like they've stopped trying. This sounds less like art and more like I want to try and upgrade sending my kids from USC to Harvard. This sounds like I need enough money in order to convince my wife to stop hassling our friends about her multi-level marketing business. All right, it just repeats itself over again. I'm gonna get to a few more key moments. All right, bridge. The simplification and everyone drops out and it's kind of a down bridge to start would work so much better if the riff wasn't already painfully simple and over repeated already. I'm not in the mood to hold back today. Sorry. It's fine. It's whatever. It's Metallica. What am I gonna hurt Metallica's feelings? It's like they give a crap about what I think. I'm bored to death. I'm so bored to death here. Okay. That is such a freaking, I know what lead I'm thinking of here. I don't remember, and frankly, I'm a little too hungover to use the brain processing at the moment, but you get it. It's very familiar Metallica. Okay, so the Lux Eterna solo, I absolutely decimated verbally. This one I kind of like. It's simpler. It's not trying to be too much. And by the way, that Lux Eterna solo, I would give more forgiveness now, understanding it is when you discover metal as a teenager. We all played ugly, gross, trying too hard to improvise with too little technique and talent. We've all done those solos a billion times. So I can give it a hint more forgiveness, even though I still wouldn't want to listen to it. This one definitely is more restrained, and I think that I enjoy this phrasing and the development off of it better. And his little legato section here, if we back it up, I actually really like the phrasing and note choice on that. Like the implied harmony of that flat 2, or I guess he's on a flat 9, I'm not sure, is really cool and actually pretty unexpected for what Kirk would normally do. And I mean, is it perfectly clean technique? Absolutely not, and that's part of what makes it sound so cool in this circumstance, at least to my sensibilities. Considering the riff he's playing over, I couldn't think of a more appropriate solo. I think it was very good. This does nothing for me. It may as well not even have a vocal part. That's what it's reminding me of. At the end of the Prince Charming solo, here it is. Great moment, by the way. Listen to this bridge. Just better top line writing, more interesting arranging. You'd have the big boom, pa, and then it's followed up by almost like a retort of the guitar against the largeness of those emphatic hits, but as a little way of breaking it up and giving you a little surprise and fun. But anyway, sorry, I'm getting way off topic. That part of the solo is basically what they're recreating in this moment. And the little is totally Sympathy for the Devil. Totally. Yeah. It's fine. Rip it, I don't care. Okay, I think that's cool. It's sloppy, you can't make it out, but it sounds really freaking cool to me, man. I don't know. Maybe it's just because, again, I grew up with Metallica being my favorite band for a decade of my life, but stuff like that I find fun. That's cool. Honestly, this has the bridge more than the no. They toss that out and just keep this guy. This guy isn't even that great, but it's a more interesting rhythmic breakup from the places we have been for the majority of this song. The flat 2 there. I think that makes way more sense to me. Okay, arguably the cringiest lyrics Metallica has ever written. I would say in competition with Lulu. Yeah, I think I'm done with this one. Is this song bad? No. I mean, for all I know, this could be some young kids' Smoke on the Water, and this could be what inspires them to pick up the instrument and they fall in love with it. And if that's the case, I mean, I'm thrilled that that brought a net positive to the world. But as a person who's been a fan of Metallica for a long time, and after years of refining my own ear and my own understanding and craft, I don't think they tried. And if they did, I think they're just old. Is what it is. I love them. I really do. I wish them the best. This sounds like it's way more believable that Lars played the drums than the last one. A bunch of people in the comments of that last video trying to tell me, oh, no, I'm pretty sure he played that, Mike. He's been practicing a lot. Oh, yeah, he definitely played that. I'm like, you have never edited drums or been in a studio. You've never tracked drums in your entire life, and it shows blatantly. There is zero chance he played that. Zero. On this one, it sounds like he could have played something close to that. All the shit giving, all of my complaints or critiques, whatever. I still love the hell out of these guys. Love them to death. I really want them to keep inspiring new generations. I truly appreciate so much how much they've inspired me. I wouldn't be here doing this or up on stage like I was on that freaking Florida tour with my band Crusade if it literally wasn't for these guys. They were part of how I made my decision to do a music career. So keeping all of that in mind, didn't care for the song. Just being honest. I'm being honest because it's more respectful to tell you exactly how I feel than it is to kiss your ass. Love you guys, and I wish you the best.